Good evening, Josh here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week so far and have some exciting plans for the weekend, which isn't quite here just yet. It's 20 past 8 in the evening on Thursday, the 26th, as I speak to you now. Matt emailed in, that's one of you good members, saying he's off to Towcester, and as many of you are aware, with a bit of warning, I will happily, time allowing, mindset allowing, have a whiz through the card and do some kind of through the card notes. Important caveats. This is very much a rush. I've spent as much time going through this whole card as I probably would a whole race if I was just tipping in one race. So note that down. Part of the point as well, before I crack on, is to provide some information, some snippets, some stats, some horses, some things of interest that you can use as starting points if you so wish to have a deeper look and to dive into those horses or said races. So I'm going to use two tools as I normally do. In front of you is the excellent GG's Gold, the best set of racing tools and certainly race cards on the planet, I think. Well, I've yet to see better, although I suppose I am biased. The other thing to say, yes, Towcester, GG's and horse race base. I think it's going to be soft. Toasters do a fair bit of rain, about 6 mil throughout the day before this evening fixture. It's currently good to soft in places, so I'm guessing a bit as to the ground. I've kind of worked on the basis that it's going to be soft and testing to a point. If it's kind of still good to soft and actually is better ground than soft. Some of my selections and thoughts may be useless, but there we go. That's what happens when you run through a card the evening before when there is unsettled weather. So I will rattle on to the 440 at Towcester. What do I want to say about this? It's a novice hurdle. If you're sat at home, if you're not going to Towcester, do not bet in this race type. I mean, you can bet. I have no overly strong views, but novice hurdles are tricky affairs because they're full of unexposed horses. They're full of could be anything types. You've got a mix of well-bred, well-trained, big yards, and you are simply guessing to a point unless you can go to the track, unless you can view the horses. Yeah, you are, because they're so unexposed, and it's not the race type to bet in. Really, unless you're going to the racetrack. I mean, if you're going to the race course, even if you park yourself at the bar for most of the time, I don't think there's a race whenever I've been racing that I haven't had a bet in, even if it's just for interest at kind of £2 on the toe, because I don't go as often as I should. I do like to get stuck in, and that's part of the fun, obviously. So the 440, what we're going to say about this, Oliver Sherwood's a bit out of form. You can see there 0 from 19, 4 places, 1 from 30. That's fine. They might be going okay, not in the context of a 3-to-1 shot. He can hack up. I'm at the racetrack. I'm not backing him at threes. He's owned by Hemmings. He's probably very well bred. He's got some okay form in the book. The two I want to focus on are Totter Down, who I would back at 5-to-1 if I was going racing, because of the pace. If I have a look here, is definitely going to try and make all. Used to be a bit keen, has learned to settle with experience, and I see no reason why he is not going to run a good race. Royal Sunday ran at the same day, the same distance at Hereford. And I've checked the times, and Totterdown ran his race in about 6 or 7, 8 seconds, maybe around 7 seconds quicker against the clock, and he hacked up and did that fairly easily, as well as did Royal Sunday. So it's hard to tell. Maybe there's not going to be much in between them. You can see the GG speed ratings here may give some indication. It's not a race I would go mad on, but Tottenham down at 5-to-1 for a last time out winner, which is never a negative. Looks decent enough to me. When the likes of Shanrose Saint, I don't like horses that kind of haven't got in the winning habit or the winning spirit in the context of price, and this one is 7-2. Clearly got some ability, been running in better races. A repeat of that Leicester Class 3 probably will put him bang in the mix. 48 days off, doesn't come here in the best of formula, has probably outclassed the last day. That is enough time that I should probably spend on this particular race. Top to down, won't mind the ground. Hacked up the last day. Yes, has a penalty. Prominent racer, will try and make all, will have track position. I think The rest may have to chase him down. So I was happy to stick with that one. If I look on horse race base that I've flicked over here, non-handicaps. This is tools good for this, just to get an overview and a feeling of the trainer stats. Non-handicap hurdles at the track, you can note this down if you want. Fairly competitive, as you can see, in terms of number of trainers that have had winners at the track in non-handicap hurdles. Sherwood, Phillips has only sent one here, so don't need to worry about that. Keithley's had a couple. Skelton, Ben Case has. Longston not yet. Keithley has again there. So if you so wish, you can take a closer look at some of those runners behind those trainers. Phillips has winners here. He's 1 from 3 in the last year, 2 from 31, 6 places. No problems there. Not the best record out with last time out winners in the last couple of years. He clearly doesn't have too many winners. But like I said, at 5 to 1 for some trackside change, I'm ticking around to 6 minutes. I've only gone through one race. That is where mine would be. The market often guides in these types of races, so you would think one of the top 4 in the market is going to win this. They're all seen fairly close on price. Do with that information as you please. But yes, totter down to make all would be my kind of trackside fiver. Beginner's chase, 1 to 3 shot, 11 to 4 shot. Class, ability, ratings, clearly one of those two is going to win. Do you bank on Indian Hawk making an error or running under par? In a beginner's chase, it's his first chase. He's clearly got a bit of ability. Malapai is, I was going to say solid, as it looks like he's never raced over fences either, has he? I know it's a beginner's chase, I was just checking. On ratings, clearly it's between those two. If you're at the track and you wanted a 5 on something, or do you put Malapai in on the off chance the Indian Hawk doesn't get round or something untoward happens? No more thoughts on that race. I am moving on. 540. Who have I got down here? Georgian Firebird. I think as a trackside, he's kind of 16s to 18 to 1. If I go on the brilliant GG's dashboard, the Instant Expert, this allows you, as you know, to get a quick feel for the horse's conditions. I'm going to assume that it's going to be soft, and this is where everything may end up in a bit of a disaster. And you'll see here there's win. They've added new filters, Matt and the team, where you can actually filter by all races and handicaps. So if I go on all races, Georgian Firebird won a novice hurdle here at the track in conditions. If I go on place, you can see there. If I go on the handicaps, okay, not too bad. One of the few in this that's proven to handle the ground. Many in this haven't exactly had many goes, so it's pretty hard to know whether or not they're going to like soft or not. Again, you can pause this video now if you wish, absorb that information that is in front of you. If it's good to soft, I've just changed the going, so I can change the going in a click of a button, see which horses have performed well on the ground. I do like, well, yeah, I think the place stats, especially if this goes soft, look interesting enough, especially those all. And Georgian Firebird, unlike many in this, has form and winning form at the course. You're taking a risk whether or not you just do as a small win bet because the PU, and that might happen again. But if I look at the form, February 2016 won and stayed on well, so clearly likes the track and wants further now, I think. Had a long time off before December 2017, fell on the first run back after a monster break, losing places when fell 2 out. That may not have done much for the confidence, especially if you've been off injured for a while. Comes out over a month later after that, and this run was in heavy, hoping this ground doesn't go heavy, but that could be a possible excuse for that run. Then steps up in trip, which is fine, and runs a really, really good race. The first decent race since returning from injury. They may have been bringing her along, or him along. Is it her? Is it he? It is her. May have been bringing her along slowly. And has run well there. Now, if she repeats that Huntington run, she is no 18 to 1 shot here for me, especially given that course form. And she races prominently. There's a chance she ran a massive race there in terms of effort and energy, and coming out just 40 days later at Warwick, she didn't really appreciate it at all. There's also a chance that she doesn't like going left-handed. If we look at that, unseated rider left-handed there, Weatherby fell, Towcester nothing, Warwick pulled up. So when you're looking at a profile like that, you're looking for kind of excuses, I suppose, for why horses may not have done that well. So 18 to 1, given that course form, given she's unexposed, for a nice poke at a price, that seems a bit of a no-brainer to me. This may be one of the favourites that you want to back in terms of Bertie Barnes. Won last time out, track leaders, raced prominently, kept on well and won well enough. Tom Bellamy keeps the ride, gone up £8. I'm not worried about that. Open to improvement. Up against a load of dross, and one of these horses may come from somewhere and just bolt up. Gray's Choice at 5-1 for Henry Oliver, who ticks these stats above. That just seems short for a horse. They keep backing it. It was back the last day. Cheap pieces on, cheap pieces off. Similar trip, a bit better ground. Maybe that will make the difference. Handicap mark is plummeting. 5 just seems a bit short for me there, if I'm being honest. So that's my thoughts on that one. What do I want to say? Yeah, I just wanted to show some stats. Handicap hurdles at the track, as you can see in the middle here. You may be drawn to Miss Caroline Fryer, who is 3 from 6 and 4 places with handicap hurdles here in the last 730 days. Mr. Phillips there, you can see 2 from 4. Nice, Bertie Barnes. So I think that's, as favourites go, there is nothing wrong with backing a favourite if you're at the racetrack. I'm certainly not opposed to that. And I think in the context of this race, that last time out winner at 9-4, 5-2, hopefully you might be able to get 3s on track maybe, is probably decent. You may want to throw £2 at the tote on this high wheeler. I really wouldn't put any more on that. 25-1. The market will probably guide 473 days off. Handicap hurdle debut will probably need the run. Probably isn't very good. The trainer's going okay. Does have a good record here in handicap hurdles, as discussed. That may be with one particular horse. I can't quite remember. Just because of that trainer record here in handicap hurdles in the last 730 days, some small change, maybe even £1 at 25-1 to buy 4 or 5 pints. I'm not 100% sure on what the prices are at Towcester for a beer. So yes, that's that. Georgian Firebird at a price. Bertie Barnes shorter. Those 2 horses are where my money would be going, with a small interest on the Fryer horse. Henry Oliver's may hack up, but I'm struggling at 5-1, but it's a fairly weak race. So anything could happen, as discussed at the beginning. Mares Norris Handicap Chase. Let's rattle through the trainers. I've ticked around to 12 minutes. Handicap Chase. Again, you can see there Henry Daly, 3 from 6, 4 places. That is interesting. Benny's Girl is interesting, but takes a massive step up. Look at these horses. 1-1-12, rated 111. Benny's Girl's rated 80. I would like to think might be about to bump into some horses that are much better than she has faced before. But she is a chaser and a mare in form, and that can make ratings an absolute, or can make a mockery of ratings, especially at a track like this, where a lightweight may help, especially if the ground gets testing. And plenty of these in this race have a little bit to prove. The horse I am most interested in because of pace, especially over fences, Indian Native, who tried to make all press leader, led 10th, which gives the impression, I haven't watched the race back, that she was in a fight at the front for quite a way, but she'd shown that was the best form she'd shown in a while, and it came with a switch of tactics. And some horses like to be held up and delivered late, as we saw with Baby King at Perth, which is one of the best rides you will ever see on a handicap chase from Paddy Brennan. Do go back and watch it. That horse is a monkey and has to be delivered very late, and he was delivered as late as you can get. Really was superb bit of horsemanship from Mr. Brennan, but that's an aside. Indian Native, yeah, ran the best race of her career to date, arguably over fences, given it was in a Class 4 handicap chase up against the Bay Birch, who then came out and hacked up again, I think, and possibly again after that. No harm in that easy winner. May appreciate if this ground is dry, it shouldn't be heavy, so actually it not being heavy should be a reason for a better performance. I would like to think Harry Bannister is going to try and make all again. It's a jockey change. He's a decent jockey. Bounce her out in front and play catch me if you can, and hopefully nothing else will. What will catch her if she does falter? Well, this Henry Daly horse is interesting. It's interesting, the price. He can ready one after the break. That kind of makes me think 10-3 is about right, if not far too short, given it's her first run after 398 days, possibly on slightly testing ground, a very stamina sapping track, and it's her first chase. They pitched her into a grade 2, which makes me think they quite like her and she was worth her go at that level. Pitched her in a class 1 novice. It could be she has a touch of class, and that she will come alive for fences. So if you wanted to, I mean, Indian Native would be my main one, and maybe a saver on the daily horse, especially because of those stats we looked at the beginning. I'm going to rattle through to the 650, where I would have a bet on the unexposed John Joe horse, who hits the section 1 stats above. I've yet to get the informed speed ratings. It could be that this one is a treble rated, given he's already got a top 3 rated for horse race base and GG's. Second run on a handicap. Actually, having said I liked him, I don't think I clicked this little box here, which would say second run handicap, but it doesn't, so ignore that. John Joe's are going okay. It's John Joe, isn't it? In and out, in and out. Guess, do the hokey cokey, pulled up, wind, fell, whatever. This one stays very well on the flat, or did. Steps up in trip, second run in the handicap, at a track John Joe targets with this class. If I just click on him here, and again, this is another one of the benefits of GG's. You can just dive into things like this: handicap, class, at the course. Well, he's 2 from 16. That is the last 5 years. So yeah, I've clicked on that. What am I looking at? So that's not as good as I thought. Having looked at that, what else do I want to say? That's it. Handicap hurdles. I know I looked at something. 1 from 8, 3 places. It's decent enough. So that's fine. And it's the distance. I went into that thinking it was the class stat, which was from my stats pack. I think it's the distance. Hold on, where am I? Distance. I'm ticking around the 7 minutes. Yes, so all handicaps. There you go. 3 miles, John Joe here. 5 from 16, 6 places the last 5 years, and all handicaps over the course over 3 miles, which this trip is. That's decent enough. I think those stats alone probably make this one of interest. Unexposed, could be anything. Should improve for the step up in trip, I think. Comes here fit and in form, decent. I think everything else in this race has a little bit to prove. If I tick around here, what have we got? Yeah, I think, yeah, nothing else really leaps out at me. Volcanics had a wind up, which kind of needs to work. Keeps placing, keeps knocking on the door. I'm not really sure I like that in a horse. Maybe it has been the wind. Maybe we're going to see an improved performance now, and also drops into a class 4. So that wouldn't shock me. Maybe 13 to 2 is okay, but you can't back them all in this. I like Bandon Rock even, at 8, just for a little nibble at the price. I'm not 100% sure how well Kim Bailey's are going. This one has a headgear change again, and importantly, he returns to chasing. When he was last seen over hurdles, he hacked up here in a class 5 at 20 furlongs. He stays 24 furlongs. The stamina shouldn't be a problem. It's just if he runs his race. The hope is that the headgear switch and a return to hurdles actually sparks him up and makes him enjoy racing again, because he clearly hasn't been in his chase career to date, although he did run well at Wetherby a couple of starts back. He is up in the weights, but he's fairly likely raced over hurdles, I think. But I think John Joe's is the most interesting one, and if you wanted one for change at a price, probably Bandon Rock. I think I can leave everything else, although I won't fall off my seat if Volcanic wins, but you've got to put your neck on the line somewhere, and mine would be with Bandon Rock and Transpennine Star. I'm not 100% sure I like handicap hurdle debutants at this track, and Ben Pauling is only 2 from 27 with those in the last 2 years. That may make 4 to 1. 9 to 2 looks short enough, especially as he has top weight. They've put cheek pieces on for the first time, which suggests he's a bit of a monkey. He was fancied in a couple of these novice hurdles without being able to put his head in front. And he's got stamina to prove and all that. He may improve for it, of course, but I didn't quite like that profile for that particular reason. As I tick round to 20 minutes and do 7:20, where is the time going? I need to eat. It's 8:45. What am I looking at here? Trainer. Handicap. What are we? We're a handicap chase. You can see there, absorb some of those stats again if you so wish. Nickname exit, we've got the Henry Oliver Heat qualifiers. I'm not 100% sure. Quite a few trainers target this track and do quite well with handicap chasers, so probably nothing to be put off there. What do I want to do? Let's click on the instant expert. Let's assume it may be soft, as I've done all evening. And there's one horse probably there on that instant expert tab, especially if I click handicaps, which might just leap out, I suppose, in terms of there being a lot of green, a lot of amber, and that would be Brendan Hill Lad. Who has course form, stays, races prominently, the ground shouldn't be a problem, has stamina. You've got Riddlestown, who's 11 under top weight and doesn't get to claim because it's a conditional jockeys. Well, he doesn't get to claim. He does claim £5 usually for whatever reason. Not 100% sure on the rules around all that, but it doesn't seem like he is claiming. I suppose because he's ridden X a number of winners or something or other. That would apply to Richard Patrick as well. Yeah, nickname exit 6-1. Not 100% sure. Didn't do anything the last day. Well stuffed. I know it was after a break, but only appears 13 days later here and has a very experienced jockey on board. Oliver Sherwood's a bit out of form, as we said. He might not actually be that much out of form, but in the context of price, a bit wary. But Fight Commander is consistent at least, and he does stay. He had a really hard race the last day by the looks of things, but decent. A repeat of one of these recent runs might be enough, so maybe I won't put you off him completely. And in fairness, Sherwood, he's getting a few place horses again now, so Fight Commander might look interesting. I like Brandon Hill Lad. He is 11. I wouldn't go mad at 7-1, but a return to this venue and this trip. He's dropped in mark. He's got a change of jockey. I'm not 100% sure why he should step forward. Oh, yes. A return to slightly better ground. I'm not 100% convinced he's relished heavy the last few runs, but I haven't delved into him in loads of depth. But I would be looking around, yeah, Brendan Hill Lad, I think, and Fight Commander might be the two where my eyes would be focused on. And I was going to leave that there, and then I was going to tick round as I tick round the 22 minutes to the 7:55 National Hunt Flat Race. Let's have a look and see what trainers may target this particular track, and there are three that have had winners here, and that is maybe where you want to focus. Brendan Powell won from 2, and that was +15, so that was quite a price. Harry Fry won from 1, Charlie Longston won from 3. You might just want to focus in on those. Brendan Powell's is interesting. That was winning a point-to-point. Is it off the mark at the 5th attempt? Maybe suggest he's moderate enough. 25-1 though. Do you want to put £1 on the? Well, maybe not the tote. You might not get much back. £2 or something, just because of his record here. With National Hunt flat horses, and it's a massive price, and you just never know. These kind of mares standing over for National Hunt flat races are poor quality tracks or not grade A tracks. Clearly anything can happen. Nicky Henderson has one. Harry Fry, that is the interesting one. Niall Madden's here for the ride. He is 3 from 5 with all runners he's sent to the track, and we've just seen one or two of those. One of those is with a National Hunt flat horse. This one is a half sister to Sizing John and a bumper winner at 9-2 of the unraced ones. That one probably is the most interesting for all of those reasons just stated. Storm Goddess, the market made guide for Longton, doesn't have the best record with horses first time out. Massive price though, and another like the Brendan Powell, who does well with this type here, maybe £1 on each at massive prices, even though the market is often a good guide in these races. So the fancied ones, you'd think the Harry Fry horse looks interesting, and I will say Miss Heritage, just because very shrewd canny trainer Mr. Ellsworth, as we know, been around forever. I assume that's the same Mr. Ellsworth. Yeah, I assume that's the same Mr. Ellsworth who trained Desert Orchid, I believe, unless I'm completely balmy. What do I want to say? Yes, this one absolutely hacked up the last day. And again, fit, experience, last time out winners in bumpers is no bad place to focus. And at 9-2, I actually think that is where I would have a decent bet. So Miss Heritage, and the Harry Fry horse look the most interesting on a quick glance, at kind of 9-2, 5-1 each, and maybe some change on that Powell and Longson horse just in case, just because of the trainer record. And I tick rounds to 25 minutes. I think I've mentioned everything I want to, as I just look at my notes that I made before going through this video. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's covered all the horses I think are most interesting. Hopefully you've found something there of interest in my thought process. And like I said, use any of those horses I've mentioned or snippets or whatever as starting points before you do further analysis. And hopefully, if nothing else, Matt has found this video of some use. So yeah, this is Josh saying until the next time, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm not sure if I'll record another video before next week. I might, but if not, do enjoy the weekend that is coming up. But I'll speak to you soon. This is Josh saying bye for now.